over at ESPN, they have the top questions remaining for each NFL team following the NFL draft, when in theory you're supposed to kind of flesh out your roster and kind of have things in place. That's why we did the NFL power rankings earlier, because we're supposed to kind of know who your football team is. And the Dallas Cowboys, their top question is...
who the quarterback is next year.
No. Who the hell is starting at running back for you this year? Todd Archer writes that for a franchise that has produced all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith, Hall of Famer Tony Dorsett, and 2 rushing champs in DeMarco Murray and Ezekiel Elliott, the current approach seems markedly different. The Cowboys will go with a committee approach, even if they re-sign Elliott. This was right before, the day before they had re-signed Zeke, because they did not select a running back in the draft. Elliott is not the same back he was when he won 2 rushing titles, but he can help. But do the Cowboys have enough with Rico, Dowdle, Royce Freeman, and Deuce Vaughn to be a 2,000-yard rushing team? The biggest improvement might have to come with the scheme and the blocking rather than the individual runners. Chop, you're somebody who thinks the running back position doesn't matter, so I'll throw this to both of you guys, though, here. The idea of how much, Sean, you can grab it first while Chop thinks of his, while Chop pulls up footballguys.com, like I pull up Money Puck.
Let me ask you a question first.
Okay.
Give me the Rico Dowdle scouting report.
Rico Dowdle, I think, is a guy who has really the biggest question with Rico is just his health. Like, I mean, he's not going to be like a stud pass protector. He'll get by. He'll do things there. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. But to me, the most impressive thing about Rico Dowdle, you saw it the very first time he stepped onto the field for a practice with the Cowboys. You know how we always talk about speed stands out on an NFL field? When you're fast, compared to NFL athletes, it's like, whoa, okay, that like, whether you're in pads or not, that makes you sit up and go, okay, what's going on here? He is so quick to find the hole, hit it. He sees it quickly. When that stuff's closing in, he can see it, react, and get through there with great contact balance. He does not knock over easily.
If I told you he played all 17, your rushing total for him would be what?
If he's completely healthy for all 17 and he gets to, like, assuming he's a lead back and he gets to carry the majority of it, I mean, he's over 1,000 yards easy, I think. I think he can be like a 1,200-yard back. He's really, really good.
Okay.
He was somebody who I think that when you talk about juice, that's one of the words they use a lot. He has juice. You see it when he touches the ball. There's some, like, electricity to his game. So I think that he's by far their most electric option on the roster right now. But, Sean, when you look at the running back position and you look at run blocking and schemes and everything else, what percentage of a successful run game do you think relies on run blocking versus the runner carrying the ball?
80%.
80-20?
80% line.
Yeah, I'd put it somewhere around there. Maybe 70, 80. So it's high.
So when the Cowboys, you've got Terrence Steele coming back off of one of the better run blocking tackles in the league. You've got him coming back from like fully removed from the ACL, which they hope will make him more effective. You hope you've improved the run blocking at center, which is something that Biadasz had struggled with in recent years. You've got Tyler Smith. You drafted 3 guys above where they were probably projected to go, or above where they were graded. I mean, Guyton was projected to be a first-rounder, but picking him at 29, I don't think a lot of people thought he'd be there available for you. Beebe was a guy who was considered a second-rounder. Nathan Thomas, who they picked in the 7th, was considered a 5th-round type of player. So when we talk about they didn't do anything to address the running back, is that enough? Did they go about it in the right way and say, we're going to throw all our resources? Because after the 4th-round group of running backs that went, it was no longer worth it to even invest in the running back position, because what we had to do was fix what's being opened up for him. And not just what's being opened up for him with the starting 5, but because of all the injuries and everything else that occurs, we need to have depth at a position that most of the NFL doesn't have depth at.
If Rico stays healthy, and if they decide that Deuce is allowed on the field,
right,
then I'm not freaking out over running back right now. I just want that on the record.
Sure.
RJ has infiltrated my mind enough of this over the years that, oh, man, trouble has showed up. Trouble showed up with our boy Dave Swavey. But if you can get a body, the Kansas City Chiefs do it. You can acquire someone. You can sign someone. If the offensive line is a 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, the Dallas Cowboys will be fine running the football, in my opinion. What do you think?
I agree. Look, I know some people think that may be a bit of an arrogant take, but I think in general, if you're blocking things up, you will be able to find it. Darren McFadden finished 4th in the NFL in rushing for a reason.
4.6 a carry.
4.6 a carry. Finished 4th in the NFL in rushing for a reason at however old he was at the time. 30. He may have been around 30 years old when he was here.
He should not have been had that good of a year, but he did. Why did he have that good of a year? Because he had a great line. I mean, that was the great wall.
Can you get more out of a better back than Darren McFadden or Rico Dowdle? Yeah, absolutely. If it's blocked up for you and you can pick up some extra, that's fine. But I'm talking about if you are going to prioritize the running back over what's being blocked up for them, you're going to have much worse results than if you just say, give me a middle tier back and a great offensive line.
Look at the same line that blocked for McFadden, the year before blocked for DeMarco, and the year after blocked for Zeke. And those guys had, not all-time great years, but, those guys had tremendous years, like career years. It's no surprise. They were better players than Darren McFadden. I'm not freaked out about the running back position either. I mean, as long as these are fresh legs. That's the problem. And I don't, I'm sure there was some, Isaiah Pacheco, you keep going back to him. I do. I mean, he was a 7th-round pick. Was there somebody that had fresh legs in the 7th round they could have gotten that had his skill set? And if not, then why was he available in the 7th round? Was that a miss? I mean, I'm sure they could have drafted somebody in the later rounds, but they chose to go with the room they had. Maybe they had Zeke in their back pocket already.
Yeah, you want Emmitt Smith and you want the Cowboys 90s offensive line. The reality is that's not easily attainable. And if you put Emmitt Smith behind a bad offensive line, it will generate lesser returns than if you put Sherman Williams behind the Cowboys offensive line.